Good afternoon, everyone. Today's project is on communication styles. The 4 outlined styles in the Toastmasters program include initiating, which is a very enthusiastic style of communication, supportive, which is a calm and patient style of communication, direct, which I think is self-explanatory, and analytical, which is a little bit more focused on facts than in small talk. The last time I did this project and the assessment that was involved was in 2020. My dominant style is still initiating, as you might be able to guess, and in last place is still analytical. However, this time around, I went from being more direct to being more supportive. My previous speech was titled Pass the Baton. Some of you had a chance to hear that one. I focused on the importance of knowing your own style and being clear on your intention. Adapting our style to our audience is important, but if our intention is misguided or unclear, then it doesn't really matter how much we adapt. We often just end up speaking versus actually being understood. At that time, I strongly believe that if we are clear and well-intentioned, we can adapt in ways to communicate with anyone. Today, this view has changed a little, and it probably explains why supportive style now ranks higher than the direct style. I still believe that, sorry, I had to accept someone. I still believe that the clarity in our intention allows for better communication, but I'm more aware now of how little control we truly have in the impact of that message. Let me take you through a recent experience. For those of you who don't know, through the pandemic, I was doing live fitness trainings, which I call QFit. It was a no excuse, no nonsense, at-home workouts despite quarantine. I did 60 days back-to-back, live streamed on all my platforms, and then 14 months via Zoom in a private group chat that resulted in an additional 168 unique workouts. Now, I've been regularly using these replays for my own daily routine. And not only do I get a good sweat, but also a good laugh and a sense of happiness, remembering all of these moments that I got to share with these amazing individuals during a very, very difficult time in all of our lives. And I wanted to make these workouts available to everyone, but the process of trimming and editing other people out of frame is super complicated and very time consuming, and is not where I want to focus my energy. So I got the core group of people together and proposed making the unedited workouts available privately for a price. And I wrote a long message, went through a couple of revisions, and even had it reviewed by a friend of mine before I posted to make sure it was authentic, that it was respectful, and it was considerate. And I expected various responses to this proposal, but never this one. One message basically read, and I'm summarizing here, I'm triggered. I would be pissed off if my info was made public. I can't even read this full post until I'm calm. I was shocked. I didn't think there was anything in my message to warrant such a response. And from that disbelief came defensiveness, a desire to defend my character and my integrity. In my head, I was thinking, I've always accommodated the requests and sensitivities of this group and have never said or done anything to make you think I would make something so personal public without permission. Then came a desire to attack. You admittedly didn't even read the full post, but you feel warranted in expressing this anger in such an abrasive way? Sounds pretty careless and irresponsible to me. But had I responded out of that instinctive, emotional point of self-protection and self-preservation, I would be equally careless, and I would have contributed to a worse outcome. So I took a breath. I vented, and then I wrote a mutually neutral reply, acknowledging the objection, even though it wasn't fully informed, and squashing its proposal, because the only way around that objection was through a lot of editing, which I already made clear that I had no intention of doing. Now, what this experience showed me was that regardless of how we communicate, whether we have the right intentions, draft the perfect message, work on the delivery, we still can't control or predict the impact and the reaction of the person receiving it. And this has become even more common given the state of affairs in our personal lives and around the world. We are all battling with one or many major issues at any given time, be that poor health, physical or mental, struggling finances, difficult relationships, death, polarizing politics, and in extreme cases, even war. And all of these things affect the way we process and react to the information and messages we receive, regardless of the intention behind them. So when it comes to communication, there's a simplified 3-part approach that I've been trying to apply to my life. And hopefully you can benefit from this approach as well. First, be mindful of your style and that of others, and try your best to adapt your message to the environment, to the situation, and the individual. And don't lose sight of your intention, which is hopefully not just to speak and be heard, but to be understood. Part 2, if you should run into a response that is unexpected or that you find unreasonable, exercise patience first. Contain your emotions and your instinctive response. Next, exercise compassion. Imagine that this person is going through something difficult that you don't understand, and it prevents them from filtering their response. And avoid escalating the situation by attacking, counterattacking, or being dismissive. And then finally, in terms of your actual response, you can ignore it and you can walk away. But if there's some value in that relationship, a better approach is to acknowledge and validate what they're expressing without feeding the negative. If the relationship is of great value to you, the next step is to ask questions to try and understand. And if not, gracefully disengage. We are responsible for presenting our best, and that starts with our intentions. And one of our greatest qualities is our ability to be compassionate to those incapable of doing so at that moment. But triggered responses are not healthy for anyone at all. And sometimes disengaging temporarily or permanently is the best course of action. The challenge is determining if and when that is required. And I hope we can all meet that challenge. Thank you.